Hey, what is up guys? So today I'm going to be talking about scaling Yu-Gi-Oh packs, or essentially tampering with Yu-Gi-Oh packs before you actually make the purchase to find out if there's going to be a certain rarity, or actually finding out the exact card. Now, I'm not going to be showing you guys how to do it, but I've actually tested so many methods of actually figuring out what the heck is, in some of these Yu-Gi-Oh packs. Now, I've tried the put in the freezer tinfoil method. I've tried a caliper method, which is basically measuring the thickness of the Yu-Gi-Oh pack itself before making the purchase. And I've also tried scaling to find out if it worked. Now, I actually just bought them and took them home. I just feel like too much of a scumbag if I was actually to go to the store with a scale and then do it there. That's just personally for me because, I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whether, it's a $500 deck, that's not something that is a huge investment. For someone that usually just buys singles anyways. I mean, this Yu-Gi-Oh game is very expensive. I mean, there's so many times where there's formats where, playing the deck that you want to play is just several $100s. I understand cards can be very, very expensive in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. But I want to talk more about scaling and in more of an in-depth, and there's going to be a lot more stuff than just talking about scaling in here. There's going to be some terminology that is good for some of you newer players or some of you veterans that just, want to know what the heck scaling is and just the other things in Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, first off, I will admit scaling does work. Now, the caliper method isn't the greatest, which is measuring thickness. There's also putting your cards in the freezer and then putting tinfoil. When you count down cards, you count down to the 5th card, I believe it is, and then you put some tinfoil and then you press it against the pack itself, and it will reveal the card's name if it is an ultimate rare or ultra rare or anything that essentially puts an indent in the card's text. Rares would also technically have a potential to show up. Just anything that would change the thickness where the card name is, you can rub in with tinfoil. Now, I will admit that method is just absurd and it is very difficult to do, but it honestly does work. So, I mean, now that we've got out of the way that does it work, we're going to be talking a little bit about morality. Now, I can apply this actually today because me and my mom actually went to Costco and she wanted to get some bananas. Now, the bananas aren't charged by weight. They're actually charged by bunches. You buy them in a bunch. It was like $2.50 or something like that for a bunch of bananas. A bunch meaning you get, like, they're sealed inside this little plastic thing. Now, some of them only had 5 and some of them had 6, and there were even some that had 7. Now, they were all the same price. Now, when I see the bananas, I'm totally okay with someone going up to fruit and not picking the ones that have, a bruise on them. And sometimes people actually go ahead and weigh the bananas to actually, charge them. Some different, whether you're going to farmer's market or something like that, sometimes they weigh them and they charge you by the weight, but sometimes they come in a bunch. Now, at that point where you're just looking at them and deciding, okay, you physically can pick up the bunch of bananas because it's in like a sealed thing that is essentially see-through. You can actually count how many bananas are there in that exact bunch, and you can also see if any of them are damaged. Now, you could say it's the same kind of with Yu-Gi-Oh cards in a sense, because you're picking out the pack that you think is going to be the best pack. But for some reason, as far as my morality goes, I feel like it's a scumbag thing to do. Now, I'm not saying that overall, universally, it's a scumbag thing to do, because I feel like this is kind of subjective, because if you look at bananas, or someone going up to the store and getting a watermelon, and let's say the watermelons are all the same price. Usually they're charged by pounds, or they're done by weight, but sometimes it's just like, watermelons, they just charge a set price for them. At that point, a lot of a lot of people would just choose like whatever they think is the largest watermelon. And we don't really look at that and we say, that's something horrible. The guy shouldn't have picked the bunch of bananas that had more bananas. What a scumbag. But the thing is, with Yu-Gi-Oh, it does technically screw over the other people that go to the store and they buy the packs. Now, some locals, they don't care if you scale. They're just like, well, I'm just here for the money anyways. I don't care. Now, the locals that I've been to, the one that I generally go to, the guy's really cool and he would never let you scale because he's kind of he's a really nice guy and he does have a lot of morals, and he would never let you scale packs. And I understand I would say that's better for, just overall the entire, the community that actually goes there, because when you're scaling packs, you technically are screwing someone over. And through my logic, I was thinking, okay, well, that makes total sense because you're screwing over someone else. That's why that we shouldn't be able to scale Yu-Gi-Oh packs, like it should be banned or whatever, that it should not be condoned. But the thing is, why am I why am I okay with bananas and fruits or just anything that you can physically see, with the exception of Yu-Gi-Oh cards? I don't see it wrong to do it to bananas, because technically if you're taking all the bananas that have 6 bananas instead of 5, or you're taking all the bananas that don't have bruises, you are technically screwing over someone else. But I know that some stores, I mean, it can all depend on a farmer's market, or if you're working at like a union or something, sometimes they get compensated for having bad shipments. So if you had a bad shipment, they'll not charge the company for it, or they'll just actually replace it with, another bunch or another, crate, flat, whatever they choose to do. Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they technically do not get reimbursed, if you happen to get a bad pack. You can't say, well, can I get reimbursed because all the packs that I bought from you all only had rares. The card shop guy, sometimes they might not even know. I mean, sometimes you go to a store and the packs are just there and they don't really care if you, like I said, scale them, because you're just picking out the best one. Again, going back to the idea of like bananas, you can scale those too. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about other things that really don't matter as far as scaling. Now, sometimes certain packs, they're like all foil anyways, and at that point, there's no point of scaling them. You could do the freezer method. The freezer method is a nightmare, though. I will tell you from experience, it does work. It's very difficult to pull off, but like I said, you're going to get a piece of tinfoil and basically count down cards and then try to press it against it to find out if there's a card that's an ultra rare, or something that has the text changed, I guess you could say. Now, there are places where they're called the Yu-Gi-Oh! Searched, and then they'll be like, the new challenges, whatever set it is. Now, they will mention in their description that no holo guarantee with slight chance for ultimate rare. The reason why they say this, it's very, very rare that this will actually happen, but some of the ultimate rares in this game, like Assault Warning was an excellent example. They were just super, super thin, and sometimes I believe that's what actually changes the weight on certain cards. But for the most part, if you buy this, you'll get no foils, because this pack has been searched through. It even says in the title, which means, I mean, it is cheaper. You're getting a bunch of cards for, relatively, and these are sealed packs, but not a sealed box. So if that makes sense to you, or I'm sorry, if that doesn't make sense to you, that means they've never opened up the packs, but they've opened up the box and they've weighed all of them. They basically mention it in the description, which is good. I think that's good. Now, I've really never bought loose packs in Yu-Gi-Oh! I have bought a box of cards that have been sealed, but when you're buying loose packs, you do run that risk of actually someone being I guess you could say scumbag, but again, I want to keep this video subjective, because I think that is arguable, because, I use that whole banana example. I don't have a problem with bananas, but for some reason, when people scale Yu-Gi-Oh! Packs, I feel like it's wrong, in my mind. I mean, it could totally not be wrong in the real world, but, I mean, I want you guys to make your comments and thoughts and all that stuff below. But there's also things that they'll mention that it's factory sealed, which means that the actual box is factory sealed. So that's just something that's kind of important if you're actually buying, cards in general, that if you're buying something that says that it has been searched or scaled, sometimes is what they mention in the description of eBay, or just any website in general. I don't really know too many websites that sell the searched boxes, but basically they bought multiple boxes and they're just going to give you, what, 24 packs or something like that. It's probably, yeah, it's the 24 scaled packs, which means that they've gone through and they've usually picked out all the cards that they wanted, or they just got all the foils out of that entire box. But I do want to also mention that sometimes there's cards called short prints that are actually more expensive. Vanity's Emptiness is just one of the most relevant examples that I can think of at this moment, because not only was it a super short print set, but there's a short print set of a short print card, which causes it to be very rare. But I mean, even though you could argue, yeah, I could scale packs and get the foils and get this anyways, sometimes it doesn't really matter for certain cards. Like Vanity's Emptiness, this card is worth more than anything, I would say, out of that entire set. Even as of now, even like a secret rare card out of Star Strike Blast, I'm pretty sure Vanity's Emptiness still ranks higher as far as price-wise. But like I said, guys, some packs are really not scalable. They are freezer ice. You put them on the freezer and you have the tinfoil method. Yeah, that can matter, but that's like I said, it's really difficult to do. If anyone has done it, you'll understand what the heck I'm talking about. Like, for me, like I said, I've never done it. I have bought cards and I've scaled them at my own house, but I never returned the packs, because that's essentially what you're doing. Or you're taking the scaler over to, whatever local store that you're going to, or place where you can scale and then be like, okay, I want to pick up these 5 packs, and then the rest of the boxes I don't want any of the other packs of the boxes, because it does technically screw someone else over. But I feel like bananas are kind of the same way, or just anyone that doesn't get reimbursed for the product itself. You technically are screwing over the other people that would want to buy bananas, or even the vendor, because if you're buying all the good ones, technically they can't sell the rest of the bananas because they're all, you know, bad, or they don't have 6 in the bunch or something like that. But honestly, this video really comes down to, I want to know what you guys think on this, because I've legitimately sat down, I'm like, is it wrong to actually do this with Yu-Gi-Oh cards? And in my mind, I felt like it was yes, but at the same time, I have no problem with people doing it with bananas. But why do I have a problem with doing it with cards? I don't know. And I also wanted to mention that I don't, okay, there's a video actually, okay, Mr. Malware Bites, I've done a video on it is actually important information if you buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards like physically, where people are actually cutting open the pack, then looking through the cards and then taking a card. That unquestionably is just bad karma, and like, that's just awful for the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. But as far as just the scaling, I'm kind of on the fence on it. But if you guys can come up with some good arguments, I might take to one side or the other. But like I said, do you guys have, I'm assuming none of you guys have a problem with someone going to a grocery store and going to the bananas or any fruit and not picking the ones with bruises, or picking the one that has more out of the box. Or if you go ahead and buy like a chicken that's already, a rotisserie chicken that's already, like, you know, packaged, you pick the bigger one, right? You don't pick the smallest one you see, you pick the one that you like the most. And that kind of goes with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I feel like it's the same concept, but in my mind, I just feel like it's bad. But like I said, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and also your reasonings why, because I've legitimately sat down and thought about this for a long time, and I couldn't decide for myself. But like I said, I'd love to hear the thoughts in the comment section below. But thanks for watching, guys. Nice out.